and welcome to PTV News Tonight. In other news, it's an all-hands-on-deck effort shaping up for relief, rescue, and recovery assistance to the quake-stricken areas in Mindanao Soc-Sargen region, which bore the brunt of the monster ground shaker that hit yesterday morning off the coast of Sarangani Island. With logistical support and manpower deployment on its way, more international partners have called in seeking ways to help, as our Patrick De Jesus reports.
Several countries have already offered assistance in connection with the ongoing response efforts in areas affected by the magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Mindanao. According to Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr., an assessment is now being conducted on what kind of assistance can be extended by countries that have expressed their intention to help. According to the Office of Civil Defense, the government's current resources remain sufficient for now. A total of 3,693 rescue personnel have been deployed, while more than 2,000 personnel remain on standby.
Marami pong mga counterparts ko na galing sa mga iba't ibang bansa ang tumawag sa akin at nag-offer ng kanilang mga tulong, katulad po ng US, ng Japan, ng Indonesia, and other countries. So yung pong mga ginagawa natin ng mga joint operations with our allies and our partners, this is one concrete example kung saan po tayo talagang nagtutulong-tulong para sa ating mga kababayan.
Kahit wala pa pong go signal, we are coordinating with these different countries, no, para mag-ready lang. There are other countries na meron na po silang resources in country that we can easily tap.
Meanwhile, classes remain suspended in the Davao region and Soc-Sargen, while several provinces in the Bangsamoro region have also suspended classes. Based on the assessment of the OCD, it may take 3 to 4 more days before classes return to normal in the said regions to ensure the safety of students. In the initial estimate, infrastructure damage has reached 232 million pesos. Patrick De Jesus for The Nation.
The recent magnitude 7.8 earthquake caused significant damage in General Santos City, including landslides, broken pavement, and the collapse of roads and establishments. The San Jose Tiboli Road, a critical link between General Santos City and South Cotabato, sustained major destruction, particularly a section where an entire two-lane segment collapsed into a ravine, making it completely impassable. Local residents expressed concern over these damages, including the problem and how will vegetable produce be transported to the market next week. Following inspection, the DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon determined that the road cannot be rebuilt in its original location and ordered the acquisition of adjacent land for a new alignment. The Secretary emphasized that the reconstruction of the said road is a government priority, assuring the public that the agency has sufficient budget for the project. He also instructed officials to accelerate the repair of all damaged roads to alleviate the burden on residents and motorists.
Davao City confirmed that no deaths or injuries were recorded in the city following the magnitude 7.8 earthquake that struck Mindanao yesterday. Authorities also reported no major damage to essential infrastructure, including power, water lines, bridges, and roads. Despite the minimal infrastructure damage, all face-to-face classes in both public and private schools remain suspended today, June 9th, with pending ongoing safety inspections. Local government offices and agencies are operating under a work-from-home arrangement as a precaution against possible aftershocks and to allow for structural assessments of establishments. The LGU is encouraging schools to utilize online or distance learning modalities to ensure safety of the students and officials. Meanwhile, the Davao City Social Welfare and Development Office is continuing its assessment and validation of homes and families affected by the tremor. Building owners are urged to immediately coordinate with the Office of the City Building Official if they observe any cracks or damage to their structures. We got your back. The short and sweet of the President's reassuring word to General Santos Mayor Lorelai Pacquiao, even as he ordered to restore power services in the hard-hit areas and instructed the DOH, the military, and first responders to secure all hospitals with compromised structural stability and put recovering inpatients there in safe places. Our Charms Espina has more on the government's whole assistance efforts.
Part of the ceiling of the Sarangani Provincial Hospital has collapsed due to the powerful earthquake. Items and some equipment were also scattered across the floor. There is no electricity, and patients are temporarily staying outside the hospital. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered authorities to ensure the safety of patients in hospitals affected by the earthquake.
Binigyan diin ng Pangulo na dapat unahing bisitahin ang mga ospital at maghanap ng mga lugar kung saan ligtas ang mga pasyente mula sa epekto ng lindol. Partikular na inutusan ng Pangulo ang DOH sa pangunguna ni Secretary Ted Herbosa at ang DPWH sa pangunguna ni Secretary Vince Dizon na magsagawa ng assessment sa lalong madaling panahon.
The President also directed the Department of Energy or DOE to prioritize power supply for medical facilities.
Ayon sa Pangulo, higit na nangangailangan ng agarang atensyon ang mga pasyente sa mga lugar na niyanig ng malakas na lindol.
President Marcos informed General Santos City Mayor Lorelai Pacquiao that the national government stands ready to address the city's needs.
Gagawin ng pamahalaan ang lahat na makakaya nito upang maibigay ang kaukulang tulong sa mga apektadong komunidad.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered a whole-of-government approach or the collective coordination of government agencies in responding to the effects of the earthquake.
Ipinag-utos ang agarang pagkilos at pagsagawa ng kinakailangang paghanda at pagtugon sa mga apektadong lugar. Binagindiin ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. na kumikilos ang pamahalaan at hindi kailanman pababayaan ang Mindanao sa gitna ng pagsubok na ito.
150 responders of the Philippine Coast Guard were deployed to conduct a search and rescue operation. The Department of Social Welfare and Development has also distributed family food packs to earthquake victims. Emergency cash transfers are also ready for release.
As always, we're already looking for the recovery side. Pinaghandaan na rin namin yung emergency cash transfers.
The Department of Public Works and Highways has inspected damaged infrastructure.
We will be going around also to assess the other roads and bridges na critical.
The Department of Transportation also visited General Santos International Airport. Operations for commercial flights have been temporarily suspended, but government and humanitarian flights are being allowed.
Nakipag-ugnayan tayo sa local government units ng Jensan at saka ng Sarangani Province. Sa mga assistance na maibigay natin ay yung mga kakulangan lang ng LGU.
This is Charms Espina for The Nation. The Office of Civil Defense, or OCD, has reported a 3 p.m. update on the impact of the 7.8 magnitude earthquake that hit several areas in Mindanao. The casualty count has increased to 38 fatalities, with 478 individuals injured and 4 still missing. According to FIVOX data, over 1,200 aftershocks were recorded, ranging from 1.3 to 6.4 magnitude. Most affected areas in terms of casualties, displacement, and damage to houses and infrastructure includes General Santos City, the provinces of Sarangani and South Cotabato. The Regional Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council continues to extend assistance to regions 11 and 12. Yesterday's monster earthquake that jolted southern Mindanao and elsewhere put nearly 200,000 in displacement as per initial reports. Likewise, 163 barangays affected in regions 9, 10, and 11, covering nearly 33,000 families or over 145,000 individuals. 31,700 individuals sheltered in place in evacuation sites, and close to 9,000 shacking up with kin or friends, as well as 4,000 combined food packs and ready-to-eat meal boxes shipped, as our Gab Humilde reports.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, continues its coordination with local government units affected by the magnitude 7.8 yesterday morning. According to the latest data from the department, a total of 163 barangays from the Zamboanga Peninsula, Davao Region, and Soxargen are affected by the shaking, where almost 33,000 families or more than 145,000 individuals are affected. From this number, more than 8,000 families or equivalent of more than 30,000 individuals are currently staying in more than 50 evacuation centers, while around 1,800 families or almost 9,000 individuals are temporarily staying with their relatives or friends. The DSWD has also delivered more than 2,000 family food packs and 2,000 ready-to-eat food boxes and non-food items to the affected areas.
Na-deploy na rin natin ang ating mga specialized disaster response vehicles kagaya ng mobile command center at ang ating mobile kitchen. Nakapamahagi rin tayo ng mobile storage units at mga modular tents para doon sa mga lugar na kinakailangan nga pong lumikas ang ating mga kababayan.
Each family food pack distributed by the DSWD to the affected families contains 6 kilograms of rice, 2 cans of sardines, 4 cans each of corned beef and tuna flakes, and 5 sachets each of instant coffee and instant powdered cereal drink. In Luzon Disaster Resource Center of the DSWD in Pasay City, their mechanized production system or automated lines have the capacity to produce around 18,000 to 20,000 family food packs per day. Aside from the one in Pasay City, the DSWD also has a facility in Mandawi City with the capacity to produce of up to 30,000 family food packs per day. Next year, the DSWD targets to produce around 5,000 family food packs per day through their Mindanao Disaster Resource Center in Butuan City. As of now, the said facility is being used as a warehouse stockpile for family food packs coming from Luzon and Visayas. Through this, it will lower transportation costs and speed up the deployment of relief assistance to the affected areas during disasters or calamities. DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian also personally visited the Dr. Jorge P. Royeca City Hospital and Sarangani Provincial Hospital, where the patients received 10,000 pesos each in financial assistance. The department is also looking into the possibility of implementing an emergency cash transfer to help the families affected by the earthquake.
Ito ay ating pong ipapatupad batay na rin sa isinasagawa na rapid damage assessment and needs analysis ng mga local government unit. And then tinitignan natin kung severely or slightly affected itong pong mga kababayan natin na potensyal na maging benepisyaryo nitong ECT.
Gab Humilde Villegas for The Nation.
Cebu Governor Pamela Baricuator immediately sent a letter to the provincial board members of Cebu to seek approval for a resolution authorizing the Cebu provincial government to provide 10 million pesos in calamity assistance to the local government of General Santos City. Meanwhile, the Cebu provincial government continues to distribute calamity assistance to residents who are also affected by the 6.9 magnitude earthquake that struck the northern part of Cebu in September 2025. Each beneficiary received 10,000 pesos in financial assistance from the government, along with 10 kilograms of rice.
A resilient, robust, and battle-ready naval force is key to upholding the country's sovereignty and sovereign right in its maritime territories and protecting the nation's interest and public welfare as well. And on the occasion of its 128th founding, the Philippine Navy received a solid assurance for its continued modernization as well as the nation's heartfelt appreciation from the Commander-in-Chief. Our Kenneth Paciente has more.
Amid the Philippines' continuing stand in defending its territorial sovereignty, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. recognized the important role of the Philippine Navy in addressing the challenges emerging in the region. The President made the remarks during the celebration of the 128th anniversary of the Philippine Navy.
The seas around us are arenas of competition and of conflict. Global instability, shifting alliances, and emerging threats demand that we maintain a resilient maritime defense posture. In this environment, a credible Philippine Navy is indispensable to regional peace.
The President thus emphasized the importance of strengthening the Navy's capabilities to protect the country's interests, particularly in the West Philippine Sea. He said the country must maintain a strong maritime defense posture in the face of the existing threats.
Thus, I have directed the Philippine Navy to further strengthen its capabilities. The DND-AFP was also tasked to further expand and deepen partnerships, exchanges, and interactions with allies and friendly forces.
The President also highlighted the continuing modernization of the Navy, including enhanced trainings for its personnel. In fact, the President also led the commissioning of the BRP Raja Lacandula, a move he described as part of the continuing modernization of the Philippine Navy.
Truly, this is a pivotal step towards realizing the Navy's vision of a modern and self-reliant force. This vessel enhances our capacity to safeguard our resources and assert our sovereignty. To the crew of the ship, may you sail her with pride and let the world know that the Filipino spirit will never be intimidated.
The Navy said the new vessel is expected to provide significant support to its operations.
Offshore patrol vessel is one of the new vessels of the Philippine Navy. It is highly mission capable, and definitely it will be deployed not only in the West Philippine Sea but across the archipelago from north to south, from west to east.
Meanwhile, the chief executive also recognized the Philippine Navy's immediate response following the strong earthquake that struck parts of Mindanao yesterday.
Following the earthquake, Naval Forces Eastern Mindanao immediately activated its disaster response mechanisms and placed its rescue team on heightened alert for emergency response and humanitarian assistance operations.
Kenneth Pasyente for the Nation.
The idea of presidential intervention to ease and liberate the Senate from perpetual leadership gridlock is warmly welcomed by a president who's more than glad to oblige, but on the condition the senators first sign off or agree to a deal to let the president intercede. A rather ideal pitch, but highly unlikely to take place with both blocs firmly dug in on their positions, as we hear more from our Kenneth Pasyente.
Amid what appears to be a tug-of-war over which Senate leadership is legitimate, Malacanang maintained that this is not a reason to say that the country is facing a constitutional crisis. It said there is no need for confusion.
Wala po tayo matatawag na constitutional crisis. Maliwanag po ang sinabi. Ang sinusuportahan po at ang nire-recognize na liderato ay ang liderato po ni Acting Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian.
The palace also said that the camp of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano should simply accept that Gatchalian's leadership is the legitimate and recognized one. It added that Cayetano would have to answer to the public for the effects of his alleged stance on the Senate presidency.
Pero kung isang tao ay magmamatigas, sagot na po niya to sa publiko. Sagot na po niya ito sa taong bayan. Dahil dito sa gulong to, marami po nabibinbin na bills, marami nabibinbin na resolutions, marami po nabibinbin na trabaho sa Senado.
The palace also maintained that the president is open to holding a special session, but it would be meaningless if senators fail to resolve their disputes.
Sa ngayon po ay pina-finalize pa po, pero ang gusto po ng Pangulo ay mauna ang Senado na magkasundo. Dahil kahit sabihin natin na mayroong hiling ang Pangulo para sa isang special session, kung sila mismo po ay hindi magkakasundo, mababaliwala po ang naisin ng Pangulo. Dapat ayusin po nila ang Senado para ito naman ay para sa taong bayan, hindi pang sarili. So unahin muna nilang maayos ang kanilang mga sigalot at ang kanilang mga issue sa Senado.
According to the palace, authorities are also now verifying the alleged attempt to cause disruption in the Senate.
It is now being validated and it has been deferred to the proper authorities. Sa mga nagtatangka, dahil nga may nauulinigan po na ganitong mga security threats, kayo man ay senador o ordinaryong tao na nagsasagawa nito, hindi po kayo makakaligtas sa kamay ng batas.
Kenneth Pasyente for the Nation.
The Senate has implemented heightened security measures, including a 2-day work-from-home arrangement for employees on June 10 and 11. This following information from the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, about a possible security threat against the upper chamber. Bernard Ferrer has the full story.
The Senate has tightened security measures within its premises, particularly for vehicles entering the compound. Police personnel also remain deployed outside the Senate as part of the enhanced security operations. This follows information received by the Senate from the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, regarding a possible security threat against the upper chamber. Senate President Pro Tempore Sherwin Gatchalian immediately met with the Senate Executive Committee and the Office of the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms to discuss necessary security adjustments and preparedness measures. According to Gatchalian, the security and safety of all senators and Senate employees remain the top priority, and the institution will ensure a safe and secure working environment for everyone. A work-from-home arrangement will be implemented for Senate Secretariat and Senate proper employees on Wednesday, June 10, and Thursday, June 11, to allow the conduct of necessary security assessments, inspections, and other precautionary measures within the Senate premises.
To protect yung Senate employees natin, no? If there is really a possible threat, mas maganda na siguro na work from home na lang muna.
The OSA is also coordinating with other law enforcement agencies to verify the reported threat against the Senate. Meanwhile, Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson expressed concern over what he described as growing discontent within certain sectors of the armed forces, which he said could be exploited by groups seeking to destabilize the government. He said members of the military are closely monitoring developments in the country, including issues related to power struggles in the Senate, allegation of irregularities in flood control projects, the inflation rate, and rising oil prices. Lacson also emphasized that members of the military are aware of the lessons of history, which show that no coup attempt has succeeded without civilian support. He said some members of the armed services continue to quietly observe and express their disappointment over current developments in the country. Bernard Ferrer for The Nation.
The Department of Education, or DepEd, is ensuring the safety of students and teachers by immediately deploying structural engineers to inspect earthquake-affected school buildings. James Thompson gets up to speed in the agency's latest assessment records of minor, major, and totally damaged classrooms affecting over 4 million students and 128,000 personnel.
The Department of Education, or DepEd, remained unfazed and immediately deployed structural engineers from the central office to inspect the affected buildings and ensure the safety of teachers and students. Based on the latest rapid damage assessment record of the agency, the number of classrooms recorded as severely damaged by the earthquake has reached 129, while 102 classrooms sustained major damage, and over 600 classrooms incurred minor damage. In relation to this, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. also ordered that all necessary assistance be provided to affected students, teachers, and residents due to the earthquake, which is why various government agencies continue their close coordination.
President Bongbong Marcos gave us a directive to ensure that all the schools in Mindanao are safe because of the earthquake that took place. He is also monitoring closely through DSWD, through DepEd, through DPWH, yung safety ng lahat ng mga eskwelahan natin. Inutusan niya si Sec. Sonny Angara na siguraduhin yung safety ng mga bata at lahat ng mga pamilya na nasa Mindanao.
Based on the latest records of the department, more than 4 million students and 129,000 teachers and personnel have already been affected by the earthquake. Meanwhile, DepEd Secretary Sonny Angara assured the continuous assistance of the agency to parents, teachers, and students. The safety of everyone also remains the department's priority, and they will ensure that schools are safe before classes resume. Schools are reportedly allowed to use their maintenance and other operating expenses for the immediate repair of the facilities. Education Secretary Angara also directed all schools to review and strictly implement measures to better prepare for earthquakes. This includes evacuation procedures and regular earthquake drills. J.M. Thompson for The Nation.
The Department of Economy, Planning and Development, or DepDev, said the government will strengthen the country's labor market resilience in response to emerging domestic and global challenges. The commitment came after the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, released the results of the April 2026 Labor Force Survey, or LFS. During a briefing, National Statistician Dennis Mapa said the survey showed that the labor force participation rate, or LPFR, in April was estimated at 62.7%. This is equivalent to about 51.30 million Filipinos aged 15 years and over who are either employed or actively looking for work.
The wholesale price of rice eased slightly in May compared with the previous month, but remained higher than its level a year ago, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA. Preliminary data from the PSA show that the national average wholesale price of regular milled rice declined by 3.1% to 46.1 pesos per kilogram in May, down from 47.46 pesos per kilogram in April. Despite the month-on-month decrease, the average wholesale price in May was still 23.9% higher than the 37.13 pesos per kilogram recorded in the same month last year. The figures indicate that while rice prices have shown some easing in recent months, they continue to remain elevated compared with year-ago levels. And Bank of the Philippines announced on Tuesday the temporary closure of several branches in South Cotabato and Sarangani as a precautionary measure following the magnitude 7.8 earthquake. According to the bank, the temporarily closed branches in South Cotabato are Kalumpang, General Santos Highway, General Santos Pioneer, and Coronadal Highway. Land Bank said these branches are currently undergoing safety assessments to ensure the well-being of both clients and employees. Meanwhile, the Alabel and Glan branches in Sarangani have also been temporarily closed, pending the completion of safety inspections. The bank said operations will resume once authorities confirm that the facilities are safe for public use.
Coming up, BTS fans better be still here after the break because we have an update for you. Don't miss that. Always stay tuned.
Ang watawat na sagisag ng ating kasarinlan. Pag-ukulan natin ng tamang paggalang at pangangalaga. Bilang pagpupugay, humarap sa watawat sa tuwing kakantahin ang pambansang awit. Isabit ito sa ating mga tahanan, mga pampublikong lugar at tanggapan, lalo na kapag may mahalagang okasyon sa ating kasaysayan. Asul sa taas o kaya sa kaliwa sa panahon ng kapayapaan. Tratuhin ang pambansang watawat ng may paggalang. Huwag gupitin, apakan, gawing kasangkapan o kasuotan. Huwag ding hayaang lumaylay at sumayad sa lupa. Kapag ito ay naluma, maingat na sunugin, ipunin ang abo, at ibaon sa lupa. Ang bandila ng Pilipinas. Ating mahalin, igalang, at parangalan. Ama naming mapagmahal, ipinapanalangin po namin ang aming mga kababayan na lubos na naapektuhan ng lindol sa Mindanao. Yakapin mo po sila ng iyong pagkalinga. Pagkalooban mo sana sila ng lakas at pag-asa sa gitna ng pagsubok at pangamba. Gabayan mo ang aming mga rescuer, first responder, volunteer at mga lingkod ng pamahalaan upang maging ligtas at matulungan ang mga nangangailangan. Paghariin mo po ang pagkakaisa at malasakit sa sambayan ng Pilipino upang kami makabangon ng sama-sama. Ito ang aming dalangin sa iyong banal na pangalan. Amen.
Is it a yes or a no? Are you anti or pro? Pagdating sa mga isyung panlipunan, stay woke or might go broke.
Basta relevant, napapanahon at makabuluhan para sa kabataan.
Pag-usapan natin yan sa
Schoolmates, the country's longest-running youth forum and debate show on TV.
Join ka na sa masayang usapan every Thursday dito lang sa PTV.
Disaster Watch. Alamin ang mga dapat ilagay sa go bag bilang paghahanda sa sakuna. Maglagay ng tubig na maiinom at mga pagkaing hindi madaling masira. Maglaan ng espasyo para sa first aid kit at survival kit para sa mga hindi inaasahang pangyayari. Huwag kalimutan ang toiletries para mapanatili ang kalinisan ng katawan. Samahan din ng mga damit at beddings na magtatagal ng ilang araw. At para ligtas at may alam, magdala ng mga teknikal na gamit. Sa panahon ng kalamidad, dapat laging listo. Talagang the more the merrier pagdating sa chikahan at balitaan. Kasama ang ating new RSP tropa na mas magpapasaya ng Tuesday mornings. Attorney Joe, Attorney Jose Bellarmino II. Dito lang sa Rise and Shine Pilipinas. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 6 ng umaga. Sa PTV.
Tanong ng ordinaryong Pilipino, hahanapan ng tugon.
Hindi ako kailangan malakas sa'yo, pero nadadala ko yung aking hinaing. Are you ready to do this?
Serbisyo at programa ng pamahalaan, ipauunawa sa mga kababayan.
Well, I feel confident if I'm a worker na pag ako ay alumnus ng TESDA, hindi niyo ako pababayaan.
Mga isyong komplikado, lilinawin ng husto.
Is bakit sa atin itong Philippine Sea? Have you engaged in many of the needed, shall I say, restructuring of the armed forces to defend the territory of this republic, to defend the sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines?
Pag-usapan natin with Oscar Orbos. Dito lang sa inyong People's Television.
GADWatch, Anti-Rape Law.
Yung Republic Act 8353 or yung Anti-Rape Law, ito naman ay nag-e-expand dun sa law natin sa revised penal code na kung saan during that time, ang rape ay isang crime against chastity. In-expand niya ito para ito ay maging isang public crime at saka crime against persons na include na dun yung ibang forms of rape. So hindi lang yung actual na sexual intercourse ang nakakategorize as rape. Let's say for example, meron po tayo tinatawag na object rape or yung ginagamitan ng mga ibang mga instruments. And those of course are considered as sexual crimes kasi nga naapektuhan pa rin yung victim. Our data on rape for 2024 ay nagkaroon tayo ng 7,751 cases. You need to report immediately kung may nangyari na ganito, whether you are the actual victim or you are a witness to the incident. Pwede naman po silang pumunta even without, say for example, securing medical certificates. That will be done as soon as may report yung case. We have our 24/7 Aling Police Helpline sa Facebook page namin, or they can already go directly po sa pinakamalapit, may area of jurisdiction sa kanila sa police station.
GADWatch.
The Philippines is ramping up maritime monitoring and has taken diplomatic action against China over the illegal presence of a suspected floating structure in Scarborough Shoal or Bajo de Masinloc. With the confirmation it's sighting The AFP vows to not allow the emergence of another artificial island in the West Philippine Sea. Patrick De Jesus tells us the full report.
Authorities have been regularly conducting Maritime Domain Awareness or MDA operations in Scarborough Shoal in connection with the suspected structure sighted in the area. Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. confirmed that the apparent structure in the southern portion of Bajo de Masinloc, seen in satellite imagery released on May 28 by a maritime security think tank, is similar to the one currently being verified by the government. But according to Browner, the structure has already moved and was last spotted inside the lagoon itself. The structure reportedly measures 6 by 6 meters and people were also seen on it.
Parang sa tingin natin may antena siya. Tapos dun sa latest na image na nakuha ng ating Philippine Air Force na lumipad over the Bajo de Masinloc, may mga tao sa taas. No, may mga tao, may 6 na tao dun sa structure na yun. Tuwing maganda yung panahon ay nagpapalipad tayo ng mga eroplano para ma-monitor natin yung nangyayari. No? May mga ipapadala rin tayong mga barko at mga Coast Guard ships.
The AFP chief added, the Philippines will not allow the emergence of another artificial island in the West Philippine Sea, where, according to him, other countries have also expressed concern.
Hindi natin papayagan na maulit yung nangyari noon na may tinayo na isang maliit na structure and then later on lumaki pa siya into an artificial island. Hindi tayo papayag dito sa Scarborough Shore.
The National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea said coordination among concerned government agencies continues as monitoring operations are being conducted to gather more information about the alleged structure and determine its implications in Bajo de Masinloc. The Department of Foreign Affairs has also undertaken diplomatic measures and informed China that the presence of the said floating structure is illegal. Last year, China declared Scarborough Shoal a nature reserve. The Philippines, however, has long asserted its rights and sovereignty over the shoal, which is within the country's exclusive economic zone and is recognized under international law. Patrick De Jesus for The Nation.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, has asserted that interfering in politics is not the military's mandate. AFP Chief General Romeo Browner Jr. emphasized they are aware of what's happening in the country. He stressed that the democratic processes are currently working on national issues, specifically corruption, citing the ongoing hearings. Separately, the AFP is seriously monitoring threats of disruption related to protests expected on June 12th. In the meantime, the Senate Impeachment Court has scheduled a pre-trial conference in the case against Vice President Sara Duterte on June 18. 2026 at 9 a.m. House Prosecutor Terry L. Redon of Bicol Saro Party List announced the conference, noting the notice was signed by Acting Senate President and Presiding Officer Win Gatchalian. The conference will be used to organize the trial proceedings by addressing matters such as the stipulation of facts, simplification of issues, marking of evidence, identifying witnesses, and setting trial dates. Both Vice President Duterte and the House prosecutors have been directed to submit their respective pre-trial briefs, which must include a summary of admitted facts and a list of witnesses and exhibits no later than June 15. The failure to file the brief on time or non-appearance without a legally justifiable reason could result in a waiver of the right to present specific evidence or witnesses. Prosecutor Redon also highlighted that the proceedings will not be open to the media or the public.
In the meantime, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino of the Makabayan Bloc asserted that the so-called 18 Maleta boys or bagmen are not heroes but victims, claiming there are shifting testimonies regarding the delivery of cash-filled suitcases to several House and Senate lawmakers are being limited and controlled, alleging there are directors and stage managers. He specifically pointed to the camp of Vice President Sara Duterte and her allies in the Senate as the beneficiaries of this alleged show, saying the primary targets are those directly involved in the impeachment process. He stressed that names like Senator Loren Legarda were initially included and then removed due to an alleged listing error. According to lawmakers, the inconsistent and ambiguous testimonies of the 18 Maleta boys clearly shows it's all malicious and just lies. Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Remulla has called for the submission of individual affidavits from the 18 self-proclaimed former bodyguards of former Congressman Zaldico, who allegedly delivered millions of pesos in kickbacks from flood control projects to several lawmakers. According to Remulla, each of the 18 individuals should execute and submit separate affidavits to support their claims. The statement followed the announcement of Attorney Levi Baligod, counsel for the former bodyguards, that his clients are prepared to tell all in the ongoing Ombudsman investigation. Baligod said the Ombudsman probe is the proper venue for the witnesses to present their allegations, including any photographs, videos, and other evidence they may possess.
The Ulat Bayan 3rd Division has ordered the submission of the audit log of the project and contract management application, the system used by the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, to monitor infrastructure projects. The directive followed the testimony of DPWH Information Management Service Director Ralph Kawaling, who appeared as a witness before the court. The matter is part of the continuing trial of the malversation case against former Senator Bong Revilla and his co-accused from the DPWH Bulacan District Office. In response to questions from the court, Kawaling explained that any modification or change made to data in the system remains recorded. And in other news, the Department of Economy, Planning and Development, or DepDev, has presented programs under the Uplift program designed to support entrepreneurs and workers. This comes following the increase in the Philippines' employment rate in April, as reported by the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA. Officials said the program seeks to expand economic opportunities, improve livelihoods, and provide additional support to businesses and the workforce to help sustain employment growth. Our Elijah Canlas threshes out the details in this report.
The number of employed Filipinos nationwide rose to 48.89 million this April, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA. Despite the high number of employed individuals, the national employment rate dropped slightly to 95.3% compared to the previous year. Meanwhile, the service sector remains the largest source of employment in the Philippines, recording 62.3% of the total workforce. According to the PSA, the wholesale and retail trade subsector led in employment, followed by agriculture and construction. In line with this, the Department of Economy, Planning and Development, or DepDev, explained that the Middle East crisis, El Nino, and the recent 7.8 magnitude earthquake in Mindanao pose major challenges to the economy. DepDev Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, though, expressed optimism regarding the strength and resilience demonstrated by local businesses and workers. He said the latest data reflects the ability of businesses and workers to recover from any economic challenge. The department also continues to implement assistance programs under the Unified Package for Livelihoods, Industry, Food, and Transport, or Uplift program for the workforce. According to Secretary Balisacan, these programs prove their commitment to implementing initiatives for a more resilient labor market against future shocks. The government will also launch apprenticeship programs and integrate job formalization pathways into temporary employment programs such as TUPAD.
Amidst the energy crisis, political challenges, and past disasters, DepDev remains committed to pushing programs to forge and strengthen the country's workforce. Elijah Canlas for The Nation.
There will still be no red carpet or long gowns for the fifth State of the Nation address, or SONA, of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., which will take place in July. This, according to House Secretary General Sheloy Garafil, was announced during the first meeting of the Interagency Committee. He said this to ensure that the SONA will be conducted simply but still with dignity. Meanwhile, the House is also making efforts to ensure that preparations for the event are well organized. For over 9.5 years, convicted PNP Lieutenant Colonel Rafael Dumlao has managed to slip out of the reach of the long arm of the law. Thanks to informant's tip, a pricey one though, well worth at ₱1 million, one of the most wanted criminals in the PNP's rogues gallery was caught alone in a Quezon City safe house without a struggle or incident. Our Ryan Lisigas has more on the mastermind of the kidnap and slay of South Korean Ji Ik-ju in October 2016.
October 2016, when Korean businessman Ji Ik-ju was abducted from his home in Angeles, Pampanga by men who identified themselves as police officers, allegedly conducting an anti-drug operation. The case became highly controversial after he was killed inside Camp Crame. Tagged as the alleged mastermind of the brutal crime was former anti-illegal drugs group team leader of the PNP, Police Superintendent Rafael Dumlao III.
Ayon sa witness yung witness ng murder na to, ay kinidnap niya, sinubukan humingi ng pera. Nung hindi nagbigay ng pera ang Koreano, sinakal siya, sinunog yung katawan, kinremate, tas finlash sa toilet.
After nearly a decade, justice may finally be served for the brutal killing of the businessman. This after authorities nabbed Dumlao.
May mga baril ka ba dito?
At around 5 o'clock this morning, the dismissed police officer was apprehended at a house in Pasong Tamo, Quezon City.
It was the wedding of his daughter last Sunday. So, from then on, tinrack namin yung movement niya. Tinrack namin kung siya talaga yon. And it looks like he was parang Facebook Live, yung pinapanood niya yung kasal ng anak niya.
Dumlao was asleep and alone when CIDG operatives arrested him. Authorities, however, recovered a 9mm firearm from his possession.
Yung tokhang kasi gave too much license to the PNP operatives to do things at their whim without the process of law. In this case, ginawa namin na lahat according to law. We did not violate any procedure. We read him his rights. We did not hurt him. Dinala siya for proper investigation and he will face justice.
Meanwhile, the PNP said it will determine who helped Dumlao remain in hiding for such a long period. Authorities will subject Dumlao's cell phone to forensic examination to identify individuals who may have sheltered or assisted him.
We will pursue all angles and all leads to see how he escaped, who he was with, and to backtrack. Makikita naman sa phone niya yan. So we will further investigate.
Dumlao had a ₱1 million bounty on his head and was considered one of the country's top most wanted fugitives. In 2024, Dumlao was acquitted by the Angeles Regional Trial Court on the charges of kidnapping and murder. However, the Court of Appeals reversed the decision and found him guilty. In 2025, authorities issued a manhunt order to track down the former PNP official. Ryan Lisigas for The Nation.
Motorists can still safely use the Bukana Bridge or Davao River Bridge in Davao City despite minor damage from the magnitude 7.8 earthquake that struck Mindanao on June 8, 2026. The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, conducted an immediate inspection, identifying visible cracks and some displaced railings. But engineers confirmed that only minor repairs are needed. Most cracks were in the expansion joints designed to absorb seismic activity and present major structural damage. The bridge remains operational and safe for all vehicles, with repair work expected to be completed within 3 to 5 days. And the Palace has declared June 24 a special non-working day in Tabaco City, Albay, for the celebration of the Tabak Festival. The festival-themed Remembrance Celebration and Thanksgiving will feature cultural showcases. recognition of board passers, community social caravans, and performances honoring the city's heritage. Government services will also be brought closer to residents in Upland Island and mainland barangays during the festivities. Activities started June 15 with a social caravan, barrio fiesta, and trade fair, while key inaugurations, including a senior citizens daycare center, are set for June 24.
The Department of Education in Eastern Visayas condemned the killing of Anthony Pardilan, 36, a public school teacher in Eastern Samar, on the first day of the new school year. Pardilan was found dead with stab wounds in Barangay Alang-Alang, and authorities have arrested 2 suspects who reportedly admitted involvement. DepEd Region 8 extended condolences to the family and emphasized its commitment to the safety and protection of educators and students. The regional office is coordinating with law enforcement to ensure a thorough investigation while urging the public to respect the family's privacy.
We'll now give you the latest buzz here at Pop Culture Corner. First up, K-pop supergroup BTS will release the song Come Over on June 12th to mark its 13th debut anniversary. Previously available only on the deluxe vinyl edition of their latest album, Arirang, the track features a powerful beat and grand stadium-like sound. The release coincides with the group's annual debut celebration known as Festa, during which BTS will perform in Busan on June 12 and 13. The Arirang World Tour will continue with stops in the Philippines in March 2027. A first look at the upcoming live-action series Scooby-Doo Origins has been unveiled. The teaser features Scooby-Doo running towards Shaggy Rogers before being greeted with a warm embrace. The series stars Tanner Hagen as Shaggy alongside McKenna Grace as Daphne Blake, Abby Ryder-Fortson as Velma Dinkley, and Maxwell Jenkins as Fred Jones. Currently in production in Atlanta, Scooby-Doo Origins is scheduled for release in 2027. Turning back to local news, sad but true. The reading skill level of the country's children, those from kindergarten to 3rd grade, is at learning poverty or crisis stage. A status quo the government seeks to turn around by lifting out kids from the learning to read phase to reading to learn level by way of providing them ample reading materials and shepherding them in reading classes. Our J.M. Thompson has more.
The distribution of storybooks, school bags, and supplies began today at Taytay Elementary School in Taytay, Rizal, and in various schools across the country. Department of Education or DepEd Assistant Secretary Silet Liboroco and Office of the Executive Secretary Yusik Georgina Hernandez Yang were present, together with partners who donated the reading materials.
I think it's also still part of the whole of government initiative to address the learning poverty, the learning crisis, and ensure that our children, especially those at the early grades, yung mga kinder to grade 3, ay magkaroon ng love for reading.
The program aims to provide learning materials for kinder to grade 3 pupils. Currently, more than 6 million students are enrolled in Key Stage 1. This is said to be the critical stage where students transition from learning to read to reading to learn. This is one of the government's programs to address the problem when it comes to children's reading skills.
Makakatulong ito doon sa ating mga mag-aaral, especially doon sa mga struggling readers. Magkakaroon na po sila ng mga gamit at magkakaroon na din ng mga reference materials or reading materials na magagamit. Ito po ay bilang kanila ding suporta doon sa aral program ng Department of Education.
Ani Almario of Adarna House, one of the government's partners that donated books, also believes that attention should be given to students at a very young age to hone and develop their reading abilities.
Dahil alam naman natin na merong literacy crisis ngayon sa ating bansa, kaya napakahalaga na makatulong tayo sa mga bata para mas matuto silang magbasa at mas mahalin nila ang pagbasa. So itong pag-donate namin ng storybooks, palagay ko parang maliit lang to na effort sa amin para makatulong na ma-solve natin ang crisis na ito.
The distribution of school bags and storybooks also took place simultaneously today in other schools, such as Dawan Central Elementary School in Mate City and Mandaue City Central School in Mandaue City. DepEd will ensure that this program continues so that efforts to help students learn faster will also remain uninterrupted. J.M. Thompson for The Nation.
Filipina tennis star Alex Ayala continues to rise in the WTA rankings after her victory at the Birmingham Open in the United Kingdom. Ayala moved up to world number 33 from number 37 after earning 125 ranking points from her title win following a hard-fought 5-7, 6-3, 7-5 victory over Nikola Bartunkova. The win also gave her a second WTA 125 title of the year and brought her closer to breaking into the top 30. Ayala previously reached a career-high ranking of world number 29 in March after slipping after points from the Miami Open dropped off. She is set to continue her campaign at the HSBC Championships, where she will face Zhang Shuai of China in the round of 32 later today at 5 p.m.
Our food for thought tonight comes from Vincent van Gogh, who was a Dutch post-impressionist painter whose bold, expressive works became some of the most celebrated in art history. And he once said, "What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything?" And so goes PTV News Tonight's roundup of tomorrow's headline stories. I'm Sharms Espina.
I'm Jay Esteban. Join us again tomorrow on PTV News Tonight.